Okay, today we're working on Algebra Notes 1.5, which is function notation. We have two learning targets for today. The first one is I can write an equation in function notation. And the next one is I can evaluate. I'm just going to write and evaluate. I can evaluate for a given domain and range value. Oops. Alright, so a function is an equation, we also call it a rule, with x values and y values. The x values are also called the domain. We can also call input, and the y values or the range are our output. So here we have an input and output machine. Here's our rule, 2x plus 3. Our domain is -1, 0, and 1, and they want us to find the range. And then they want us to do the ordered pairs as well. So I'm going to set these all up. We write our rule. I'm going to do it 3 times because we have 3 domain values. Okay. And these are our input. So we have -1, 0, and 1. And then our range is going to be our output. So 2 times -1 is -2 plus 3 equals 1. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 3 is 3. And then 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 equals 5. So when I turn those into ordered pairs, I have -1, 1, 0, 3, and then 1, 5. So my output values are 1, 3, and 5. So function notation sounds really scary, but really it's just fx. We say it f of x equals. That is the same thing it's the same as y equals. So y equals is the boring way of saying things. From now on we're going to say f of x. Okay? But they're the same thing. So we're just going to change these into function notation. Y equals 4x plus 6. Remember I told you y equals is the boring way, and now we're going to say f of x. You can actually use any letter, but sometimes, most of the time we use f because it's a function. So f of x equals, and then it's the same thing, 4x plus 6. Down here I'm going to use g. So instead of y equals, I say g of x equals -4x minus 9. For number 3, I'm going to use hx. So 5x minus 6 equals h of x. And then y equals 2x plus 3. I'm going to use k of x. So k of x equals 2x plus 3. Alright, so now using function notation, they say f of x equals 2x plus 3. So that's what we're going to use for example 2 and example 3. If it is to find f of 4, you would replace x with 4 in the rule. So I'm going to write, I like to go ahead and write it again. F of x equals 2x plus 3. So f of x equals 2, and then I change that to a 4 because that's where I got it. Two times 4 is 8 plus 3. So f of x here equals 11, and then my ordered pair would be 4 because that was the input value they gave me, 11. And then we do the same thing for the other one. But this time they want us to find f of negative 1, so we replace the x with negative 1 in the rule. Two times negative 1 is negative 2, and then we bring down the plus 3. So f of x, negative 2 plus 3 equals 1. So my ordered pair here would be negative 1, which is what they gave me, and then my output is 1, which is what I calculated. Okay, we're just going to move right along to example 4. We're going to use the following equation. F of x equals 2x plus 5. We're going to do those the same way. They want us to find f of 2. So f of 2 equals, and then we copy the rest down, 2 plus 5. We'll use 2 here. So f2 equals, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 5. Bring that down. F of 2 equals 4 plus 5 is 9. So then my ordered pair is 2 that they gave me right here, and then 9, which is what I calculated. Okay, we're going to do the next one the same way. F of 6, we're using the same rule, equals 2 blank plus 5. So f of 6 equals 2 times 6 is 12, plus 5, just bringing that down. So f of 6 equals 12 plus 5 is 17. And then my ordered pair is 6. Couldn't think of what color I wanted. 17. 17 is what I calculated. Now we're going to do f of negative 212. This time I'm going to do it on my calculator. So how I do that is I put in my rule and I replace my x. So I have 2 and then I have parentheses because that's where my f goes. Negative 212. Close parentheses. Okay, so that's my 2x. And then I finish it off. Plus 5. Negative 419. So my ordered pair would be negative 212, negative 419. Alright. Example 5 says find the range of each function for the given domain. Now we can actually, first way is we could input each one for that. I could do negative 2 squared minus 2 and figure that out. I could do 0 squared minus 2 and so on and do each value. Or I can use another nifty way on the calculator. First, I have to put in my braces. So control, close parentheses. And I'm going to type all of my values in. Negative 2, comma, 0, comma, 2, comma, 4. And then that's my x. So then I'm going to square it off, finish it off, minus 2. And then it gives me each range value for the given domain. So I put in 4 domains and I have 4 ranges. When we write ranges, we put our braces and we put them in order from least to greatest with no repeats. So if I use the calculator, my range would be negative 2 to 14. There's actually a third way of doing this. So the first way is to do it by hand one by one. The second way is to input them all into the calculator. The third way is something we haven't tried before. We'll do on, new doc, don't save. This time we're going to add a graph. And it's asking me what f of x is. Our f of x for this one is x squared minus 2. From right there. So x squared minus 2. And it graphs my function for me. Okay? But I can't really tell right now. I'm just looking at it. So instead of guessing, I'm going to press Control T. here are my x values, and then it tells me what my range values are. So we looked for, the first one we put in was -2. So I'm going to scroll up, -2, 2. That's what we got as well. We also had 0, -2. That's also what we got. 2, we got 2 again, but we only wrote it one time because we don't write repeats. And then we also put in 4, and we got 14. So did they. Okay, that's the second way we can do it. The next one says, explain the connection between the domain and range in a rule or function. Domain is the input value. And range is the output value. Okay, that's their connection. Domain and range is input and output. So now it says to find the values as indicated. Here it says h of x. So these are our x values. So I'm looking for x is 6. Here it is. So h of 6 is 12. Now we're looking for -2. Remember, this is my x value. Here's -2. My value is 6. Now we're looking for h of 8. That's my x value, 8. So my value is 14. This one down here is telling me h of x equals 8. So here on my chart, I'm looking for 8 right here. Here it is. So my x is 2. Same thing here. H of x is 10. I find 10 on my chart down here. There it is. The x value is 4. And you guys can try these.